How you doing, everybody, and welcome to NinjaToons, where the martial arts meets the creative arts. I'm Michael Voog, the ArtNinja, and this is Walk-Thru Wednesday, how to draw sands from Undertale. So you may be wondering why I picked Sans from Undertale, because I told you in the last videos that we were going to be focusing on Halloween characters. Well, as you know, Sans is a skeleton type character, and I thought this would be fun for not just our older artists, but for our young artists as well. So let's do Sans from Undertale. Now Sans starts with the letter S. So let's draw in that letter S. And if you didn't get the S just right, that's okay, because the next step is just creating the number 8 or 2 circles. Now draw in your center line and your eye line. Now we're going to draw in his eyes. So draw 2 C curves on each side of the center line. Put in his pupils. And then to draw his nose, I'm going to zoom in here, and I want you to draw the letter M for the top of his nose and a W for the bottom of his nose. Next, we're going to draw his mouth. We're going to give him a nice, happy smile. So practice that C curve by drawing an upside down rainbow. Then you're going to use C curves on the sides to create his mouth. And then we're going to draw his teeth. Give him a nice happy grin. And then we'll draw in some teeth on the sides. As we learned about in our 2-minute tip on Tuesday, the 3 essential elements to drawing emotions, now we're going to add in his eyebrows. So we have his eyes, his eyebrows, and his mouth. Going to draw in those cheek lines. And his cheeks also come out a little bit more too. So let's draw a C curve around the outside of his head and bring it down to his chin. Just like that. Next, we're going to work on his body. So we're going to draw his hood. And I thought this character also, even though it's from the game Undertale, I think he has a pretty close resemblance to the character Coco from the Pixar movie. Now I want you to draw this rectangle shape. And this is going to be the pockets on his hoodie. For this next step, I want you to bring your line outside of the circle and then bring it back to the bottom of that rectangle shape. Bring it out and bring it back. Now, we're going to draw straight lines from the top corner of the pockets. And then we're going to darken up his body, which is that original circle that we drew in step 1. Down here we have the bottom of his sweater. And now we'll add in his shorts. So to draw on his shorts, create both sides, and let's create a rhythm between both sides, like this, and then carve out a negative space between his shorts, like that. Now, as you know, Sans wears slippers, so let's create a ground line for him. This is where his slippers are gonna be. We're gonna thicken that up, because if you're gonna wear slippers, you gotta have them nice and soft and squishy. And then we're gonna draw a C curve from the end of the slippers, moving in like that. And then just give a little bit of space in between to separate those slippers. Now, when drawing a skeleton, there's 2 bones in the bottom half of your leg. So you're gonna draw 2 C curves, and you're gonna thicken them up like that. Now we'll add some stripes on the side of his shorts. And the last thing we have to do is give him the little drawstring holes. Practicing our S curves. And then let's put a little cone at the end, because it's really frustrating when that drawstring gets stuck inside of your hood. So there's our rough sketch of Sans. The next step, cleanup. Now, I always like to start our cleanup with the face, specifically the eyes. So let's go and do that cleanup, and catch me at the end of this step. So now we have the cleanup for Sans completed. The last step is adding some color. Let's get started. So if you remember from last week, we talked about how to add lights and shadows to your artwork, and there were 4 things that I told you need to know. The first thing was highlights, which we created in his eyeballs up here, okay? The next was the midtone, and that's basically the flat colors for our character. The next was your core shadow. So you'll see here on the artwork, I use this darker color right here on his leg. If you think of his leg as a cylinder, I created a core shadow here, then everything behind that is gonna be a similar value all the way along the right side of his body. And the last shadow was a cast shadow. Now remember, the cast shadow was something where the light hits an object and then it casts a shadow on a surface. So the cast shadow we're gonna make for Sans is on his legs. So imagine that the light is hitting his shorts, and the shorts are gonna cast a shadow on his shin bones here. So the light's hitting his shorts. This edge of his shorts is casting a shadow on his shins. And the same thing here. Now, depending on the angle of your light will determine your cast shadow. See, when you pull back, you see how it looks like there's a 3rd dimension to the colors. The last shadow that we'll do is another form shadow. And this is gonna be on his slippers. So again, the light's hitting the upper corner. Let's create our core shadow. And then everything behind that will color in a slightly darker value. And everything on this side is still going to be in shadow too, so we'll leave that back slipper in shadow. Okay. Now this stripe here on the side will be a slight gray. Because it's in shadow on the right side of the character. Now when I'm looking at this piece, one other thing I wanted to add was maybe a cast shadow on his teeth. So as he's smiling in here, why don't we add a little bit of gray, the sun's hitting his face, and just under his lips, we can create a cast shadow on his top lip, or his top teeth coming from his lip. And then we also can create a form shadow because his mouth is going back into the sides, his teeth are going back into the corners of his mouth. So light's not gonna hit it back there, okay? So that's our Walk-Thru Wednesday of how to draw Sans from Undertale. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you strike that like button. And if you're not a subscriber yet, smash that subscribe button. And then let us know in the comment section below. What other characters do you want us to draw for October, since Halloween is coming up? Until next time, guys, remember your ABCs, always be creating. Have a great day and stay tuned for more videos. Arigato!